Imagine being made homeless because of your health condition and having to sleep rough on the streets of London, particularly with the cold and the pouring rain that we have had in the UK in these past few weeks. Well, this is exactly what has happened to one of the Justice Journal's subscribers, and they are sharing part of their situation with us here, and I'm going to read it out to you in a moment. But this was all turned around grace to my free letter about bank statements. Not only was it bad enough that this person and their partner, I might add, were on the streets homeless because their health had deteriorated so much so that they couldn't work, but they were then hounded by the Department of Work and Pensions to provide bank statements for a process that hasn't yet passed by royal assent. So that means it's not yet legal. Thankfully, that person saw the Justice Journal's YouTube channel. So thank you guys so much for sharing my content out, and please carry on doing so. And they downloaded the letter, or typed it out in this case, and they passed it to DWP. And let's share what happened. This is a comment that comes from Michael, I believe is his name. I would like to say a massive thank you to this lady, much appreciated. She's literally saved my arse. I typed out the letter in the end and sent it first class to the DWP. So the story is this. They had suspended my claim after making me wait 11 months for LCWRA. That is limited capability for work and no work-related requirement. So that means this person was clearly very unwell, so unwell that they couldn't work. Both me and my partner sleeping rough in central London. We don't drink or take drugs. They wanted 4 months bank statements and a copy of ID. So imagine this, these people are already incredibly vulnerable. Instead of helping them, they're putting more obstacles in the way. Nothing I said via the journal or phone had an effect on the DWP. Within 24 hours of sending that letter, the suspension was lifted and everything went back to normal. I am glowing for you right now inside. I am so pleased that has helped you. Honestly, I feel quite emotional. I'm so pleased that it's helped. I really am. Thank you so much for helping me. I really mean it. And I wish there was some way I could repay you. Folks, this is a blessing from God. Thank you so much. You've already helped me. The fact that that's got you what you need, that's it. That's all I need. That's why I do it. That's why the Justice Journals is here. It's about sharing tools, resources, stories, tips to help you get what you're entitled to without all of the nonsense, without all of the rigmarole, without all of the stupidity that this godforsaken department employs sometimes. So I am super, super, super pleased for you. And I really hope now that this helps you. And I hope you find housing or whatever it is, you need to make your situation better. And I wish you and your partner all the best. Now, before I get on to even more devastating news about the DWP in this case, I do want to highlight two things. Number one is this little device here. It's currently on sale at £13. It's a voice recorder. Yes, I know lots of you can do it on your phone, but this will not die necessarily, like phones do. It has a little card that you can put into your computer. It can be used once transcribed with something like Google Docs for a court appearance or proof that what you said for a PIP assessment is what you said, or proof of what you said to a phone operator at DWP is what you said. And I'm also pleased to show you guys, you can now get a full printed version of this health tracker, which is specifically written for people with disabilities or long-term health conditions that are struggling perhaps or on how to evidence it. Once you have this and you have this, you are much better armed to complete a PIP application correctly, to go through assessments. You can use this for PIP, employment tribunals, employment situations, even benefit offices and benefit applications when you're having to prove your health, your disability, and how these are impacting you, how they are affecting your life adversely. There's all sorts of things in here to help you. You can get it, as I said, on Amazon. I'm going to leave the list. I'm going to leave the link down below. But I'm also going to leave a digital link as well. If you're someone that wants to print it out at home and keep it in a folder, I've got both versions. So there we go. And hopefully, if you have things like this, you won't have to wait so long for your applications to be treated. And maybe, you know, like the lovely Michael here, once the DWP know that you know your rights, they have a completely different approach, as we have seen. And that is this. Now I'm going to bring you some more exciting news and some updates about DWP spying on everybody with their new AI machine, collecting all of this data and information about everybody and then generating data from an AI bot on what they believe people's behaviour should be like and spending patterns and all the rest of it. Well, as we all know, we're all very concerned about this because not many people trust DWP. Can't think why. But anyway, we have entered the digital realm. We are in the world of AI intelligence and it's all very new. And because of that, from somebody that does quite a lot with tech myself, I can tell you now that a lot of AI is based on open source. Open source is software. Technically, it is code and it is made publicly available. When code is publicly available, it means that anybody can find it, they can use it, they can modify it. Modifications being the key word, which is very, very dangerous when that part of open source is connected to private data and then you mix AI with it. Little bit or big bit of a concern. Anyway, there is somebody who was not very happy about this and wrote to the Information Commissioner's Office in London about DWP and their use of private data in their new AI tools. And here we have the decision from the Information Commissioner's Office in London. So here, let's read it. The complainant, so that's the person that made the complaint, has requested information relating to the AI tools the Department for Work and Pensions intended to publish via the Algorithmic Transparency Recording Standard Hub. DWP confirmed that it did not hold some of the information. The question is, who does? And the complainant does not dispute this. DWP withheld the information that was held on the basis of Section 22.1. The Commissioner's decision is that DWP is not entitled to rely on Section 22.1 to withhold this information. And the reason for that is because a lot of that is going to be relying on your personal data. So no, they most definitely shouldn't be withholding it. The Commissioner considers, however, that a small amount of this information does engage Section 21. Information reasonably accessible to the applicant, as this had been published by the time of DWP's response. The Commissioner requires DWP to disclose the list of all AI tools DWP plans to place on the algorithmic, hate saying that word, Transparency Recording Standards Hub, with the exception of the information already published. The public authority must take these steps within 30 calendar days of the date of this decision notice. Failure to comply may result in the Commissioner making written certification of this fact to the High Court pursuant to Section 54 of the Act and may be dealt with as a contempt of court. Wow, what a joy. Now let's break this all down in case you might not understand what it is, because it's a little bit wordy. So the first part here really is this section 22(1). Now the relevance of this section is this. DWP actually used this section in their defence against the person that requested the information, and it's section 22(1) of the Freedom of Information Act, by the way. DWP used this by saying, we don't have to share that with you right now because we're going to be publishing it later, or publishing it at a later date. And normally that is permitted for public bodies to do so if they're going to plan, or if they plan to publish it at a later date. However, in this case, the Information Commissioner's Office in London stated that they cannot withhold this information. So the Information Commissioner's Office actually agreed with the complainant and disagreed with the Department of Work and Pensions. And now they have given the Department of Work and Pensions just 30 days to publish all of the tools and the resources that are being used with this AI. And should DWP fail to do that, and I have just checked the Information Commissioner's Office updates and it appears that they haven't yet published it, they are potentially going to be referred to the High Court for being in contempt of court. So this will be an interesting development that I will be most definitely keeping my eye on. So in the current situation where we feel we've entered into a dystopian era, where we have no control, just remember that the Justice Journals is here to share wonderful stories like this, and also to help you know some of your civil rights and the things that you can take action on once you know a little bit. And sometimes you don't have to know how this all works. You don't have to be a legal advisor, to write to the Commissioner's Office and say you've got concerns about DWP doing X, Y, Z, and just like you don't have to risk your claim or anything else being closed down when you inform DWP of what the law is. And let's just remember, there's a big difference between DWP guidance, somebody on the phone that might not know and quite often does not know what their own guidance is, and the law itself. So there we go, guys. Have a wonderful weekend. Stay blessed. And I'm just so happy to be sharing this with you. Take care and goodbye.